They're the worst fans in the world and the best fans.
Yeah, we're not knocking all boxing fans. That's why we have the show.
Let me clarify what I'm saying. They're the best fans as loyal goes, right? But they're the worst when it comes to hating on you. Yeah. They will threaten you. They'll threaten your family. They'll threaten to kill your dog. They'll do whatever they can to get to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. They take it personally.
All like from behind the computer.
They take it personally like they were the ones involved in the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll call the fighter the bum as they're sitting there, just lost their job and sitting on their Facebook before they cut off their Wi-Fi and cable.
They'll say you're a bum. I'm going to screw your wife, and then they see you the next week and want to take a picture with you.
Yeah. Or you don't hear from them the following week because, like I said, their Armstrong cable or their cable provider got shut off.
Hey, don't be knocking Armstrong. I love them.
And they don't have no more Facebook to sit there and talk shit. So
that's what I'm saying. They have no knowledge. All they see is you for 30 or 36 minutes on a TV screen. They see your performance. They don't see, Kelly, when did you start your amateur career?
Yeah.
8, 9 years old, 92.
Okay, 92. They don't see that you started as an 8 or 9 year old kid, that you were in the gym training while other kids were out playing or playing video games or playing tag or riding a bike. You're in the gym competing in a sport that many a grown man doesn't have the character or courage to compete in, and you're doing it as a kid. And you're doing it day after day after day, year round, because there's no off season, sometimes coming in on weekends too, sometimes training twice a day. And that's your life. So, they have no comprehension of what a fighter goes through. And that continues all the way through, and only gets worse, as your career progresses and your competitions get to a more elite level, and then you turn pro, and then it's like you're starting all over again. And they have no comprehension of what you as a fighter goes through.
And the weirdest thing of it, the better you do, the more criticism and more negativity follows with it.
Yep.
But,
well, Joe, like always, we appreciate you coming on, and it's been fun. And I want to extend welcome you coming back anytime. We'd love to have you on.
I would love to.
All right, sounds
Kelly,
good.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
I actually stole something from your repertoire that I love, and I wanted to know if it's something you were aware that you did, or something that was done by design, or something that you came up with in your own.
It's probably licking ass.
I gave that up for Lent.
I'm going to refer to the Zertucci fight because it was a really good. They caught it on camera really well. You do a shot where you'll throw a long jab, and then it's almost like a really long, not even a slapping hook. It's like your left hand is out there, and you just turn your thumb over slightly, and then you throw a right hand behind it. I use it to this day. I call it the slap shot, and it is. I've seen it work so many times in your fights, where as soon as you touch him with that left hook, and it's really long, your arm is almost completely extended. It's just enough that the guy pulls his right hand outside to almost try and catch it. And when you do that hook, your lead foot comes out a little bit to the left and lines your shoulder up in a straight line with the guy's chin, your right shoulder with the guy's chin, and your right hand always splits the gloves, always finds the chin. And I was curious if that was by design, something you came up with on your own, or if you were even aware that you did it.
Yes, I know we did it. That I did it. Actually, what that was just a setup for the right hand.
Yeah.
I used to do that on the bag a lot. Actually, on a regular heavy bag, it's hard to really throw a hook on it. It just feels awkward. Everything else, but so I would hit it. And that was kind of like the slingshot for the right hand. That's what it was. It was to bring theirs up, and then when you come back with that hook, which, as you've seen, like you said, it's nothing hard. And I would just tap that, and I would kind of spread their hands a little bit naturally. Yeah, they would move their hands wide, and then that left the middle, wide open down the middle for the right hand. And then you're getting all that, and you're getting all that torque because
you roll back. You roll back into a right hand.
Yeah, because I'm pivoting that front foot a little bit, not a lot. I'm not over exaggerating it, but I'm pivoting, and I'm getting enough torque to come through with the right hand, and it was called my zinger. So
I have a name for it too. It's funny because when I do it with the kids, it works so well that there were times where they could pull it off 4 or 5 times in a row and land it every single time because it's such a. I don't know.
Be careful.
What it is
You know,
about
the only
that,
thing you got to
but-
be careful about is you got to know the right timing. I mean, if you're in the middle of the ring and they're still active, you don't want to leave your left hand out that long. You know. But when they're like against the ropes, or if they're more or less in a shell position in the middle of the ring, that's a perfect time to throw that.
It's hard to protect against too. Guys don't seem to be able to get out of the way with it.
You could actually send it to the body too. You can send that same punch to the body and do the same thing.
Yeah.
People
have a hard time like getting out of the way of it.
Yeah, take that left hook, ding the body, and they'll move right into the right hand.
The reason why I mentioned it specifically with you, Kelly, is that everybody always kind of pigeonholed you into being a puncher, and I think we talked about it a little bit on Facebook. Those punches don't land unless you know how to box.
Yeah, or if you have speed.
Yeah, and also your defense. I thought that your defense was greatly underappreciated because people were so focused on what you were doing to the other guy, they didn't see that, punches that the other guy was throwing, they were being rolled off the shoulders, caught in the hands, slipped underneath. So I had that, have the opportunity to talk to you a little bit. I wanted to tell you that, that was definitely didn't go unnoticed with your more astute fans. So it was a pleasure to watch you box throughout your career.
Well, thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that.
And hey, we're planning a trip out to Philly sometime, so we'd love to come see you.
Yeah, for sure. All you got to do is let me know when. There's a great place to eat around here. It's called the Spartaco. It's a private Italian club. Food is out of this world. So
Kelly's already packing. What did you do, Joe? Kelly literally left the show and started packing.
Hey, got to get some carbs in with my protein, man.
The food's great. So if you guys ever make it here, I'd love for you to meet the kids. They watch your fights, and
we love to.
I talk about you all the time too, James, with all the stuff you've done in boxing, all the connections you have and stuff. So they're aware of who you guys are. So I'm sure that they would like to meet you. So
I appreciate
whatever happens, that would be great.
We greatly appreciate that, Joe. And we're not that far. We're not that far away either. We're only 6 hour, 5 hour drive.
Yeah, 5 hours.
So
they're coming to Ohio too.
Yeah. And when that happens, I'll call.
Of course, you got a place to stay, buddy.
Sweet.
And like I said, I'd love to have you on anytime as a third set of ears.
All right, you just call me. You let me know when if you got some time to talk. If you have some time you need filled in. I always like to talk boxing with real boxing people. So
that'd be great.
It's a pleasure to be on your show.
That'd be great. We'd just like to have you on there so you could ask people questions yourself.
Awesome.
All right. It was great talking to you, Joe.
All right.
Joe.
You
take
too,
care,
guys.
bud.
Thanks for having me, Kelly. It was a pleasure watching you, James. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you.
Cool,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Well, I'll tell you what. Another good show, in my opinion. With Joe, to get to know his input, with Kermit and then just the amateur program that he has going and the talent of fighters he has going.
Yeah.
Was best of luck. I want to just wish him best of luck with that, and keep at them, guys.
It's true. This guy's one of the best up and coming trainers out there. Very humble. He don't put his kids at any unnecessary risk, but he's not afraid to push the envelope either. Which is something.
I like what he said the most was, and he's open minded about it. Hey, sometimes you got to take the ego and put it to the side. Mm-hmm. He said that he's up for learning. Anything new, if somebody comes to him and may have a good idea, he's going to take that and use it. So, and that goes to show that right there is the first sign, in my opinion, the very first sign of a really good trainer who's going to be a great trainer, who's open-minded to learning.
I want you to do me a favor. When you get home tonight, I want you to watch this kid. I'll send you videos of him.
Yeah, send me the link.
Xander Ramirez. This kid is amazing. I mean, I just don't say this about any amateur, but he reminds me of a lot of you. Yeah. Tall, lanky, big feet. And you're like, okay. And then he hits these guys and they just go away. And he's only 15 years old.
Yeah, well, the kid's got a bright future. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on it.
And then he has David. He has a young kid, David. I don't remember his last name. Time I watched him. He made a pro, like a 5-year pro, just quit. Like, I'm done. With a body shot.
But the thing that I was saying, like what I was explaining to Joe, is just got to be careful at that point. I'm not telling Joe anything that he don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but there is like a fine line. Yeah, you're in a unfortunate but not unfortunate situation. You got a kid that good, and sometimes the only people in there to put him against is adults and probably some pros. You know,
He's working with Kermit.
exactly. But at the same time, an adult, and anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
When you got a trained fighter who's that mature compared to a kid.
Well,
but obviously Joe knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. I'm sure he's putting them in there at the right pace with the right people, and obviously is showing. Look at the kids resume.
Yeah, but I akin having a great young fighter like that to having a prize racehorse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You push them too fast, you push them too hard. What happens to a racehorse? They burn out.
They burn out.
They burn out. They
bad
lose,
hoof.
or when they finally taste that defeat, they never come back again the same way. And that's that fine line of not that's that fine line of not pushing the kid over the edge.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I think Joe's got a good handle on it. I don't think that's going to be a case.
Well, like
with
I
him.
said, it's the proof is right there. Though you see how good the kid's doing in the amateurs and in the tournaments, and obviously he's doing good in the sparring with these guys because Joe, from what we hear, if things weren't going that well with these sparring partners, I'm sure he wouldn't. So, again, that's a good situation too. When you have a kid that young and they're whooping on everybody. That's not a bad thing to bitch about either.
No, it's not. But like I said, it's like you just got to be careful because you're going to start going out west where the competition gets better.
Yeah.
And then that's when you really start seeing how good your fighter really is. When you're hitting Texas, California, New Mexico, hell, even Kansas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're getting these guys out here now. And before
Kansas,
the East Coast,
Kansas always had a lot of good amateur fighters.
Kansas always. They used to get a lot of the guys from Mexico to come up. Do you remember? And those kids could just fight.
Don't that ringside tournament's out of there too?
In Lenexa. Over in Lenexa, Kansas.
Okay, yeah.
I won that like 2 times.
Yeah, I was kind of almost up out of the. I think I had 1 year left in amateurs, open division before I turned pro. That may even. What year did a ringside tournament come in?
I don't know. 94 maybe.
Oh, that was that long ago.
Yeah, 94. First time I heard of it. Oh. But I used to like going to it because I'd get the best equipment. They give you that bag and it have headgear and gloves that you got to keep.
Yeah. They gave you a belt.
A belt if you won.
All the national tournaments I won, they never gave you a belt.
No, they give you a trophy or a medal.
Yeah, and then it became rinky-dinky trophies and medals too.
Or a certificate of achievement. I'll just toss in the trash on the way out.
And then, also about the show today, I'd like to thank Shannon Torres for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Another good interview. And I like what she's doing with the, she's the VP of the WBC Cares and the organizations that she's reaching out to. Is really cool, I think.
That's what I like about this show. It don't always have to be about boxing. We can hit the things that really matter most in life, which are people. That's the main thing out there is people. That's what matters most at the end of the day. I want to give a shout out to Marcia Cornejo for giving us something nice to look at and give her that shout out. And also Joe Pastore.
Well, I already mentioned Marcia.
I know, but I want to mention her too, Kelly.
I was the first one to do it, though.
Yeah, but she'll remember it last.
Thanks, Marcia.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to sit here and sulk.